The Mount Rushmore state has some of the most beautiful forests in the world and no shortage of places to find the perfect Christmas tree. Dakota Territory's Adrian Carbajal spoke with two retired Forest Service rangers about the time they were chosen to provide the Christmas tree for that famous house at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Since 1923, the White House has hosted a national Christmas tree lighting ceremony highlighting one giant tree to be cherished each year. This year's tree is from a national forest in Virginia, and people all across the country can watch the tree lighting from the comfort of their homes. But what many South Dakotans may not know is the Mount Rushmore state has delivered a national tree 3 separate times: 1955, 1970, and 1997.
To be nominated for the tree starts years ahead of the year you want to provide it. We get a letter from the regional office, from the Washington office, requesting nominations to supply the tree to be the national Christmas tree back in D.C. And so I wrote the letter. We got approved. That's when the work starts.
Years of planning, coordinating, and fundraising then take place. Say says volunteers sold sweaters and a painting of the tree done by John Crane to raise the funds to ship the tree. Even then, they needed the help of the community.
We ended up with Mack trucks as our partner to haul it. We had pull-on saws. They provided the professional cutter and the saws to cut it down. And we still had to raise all the money to get it back.
Behind me here is the site of where the 1970 tree was cut. It stood at a whopping 78 feet tall and 20.5 inches in diameter and was delivered to the White House for a very special Christmas.
That day was the coldest day that fall we had ever had. We had a big blizzard come in. It was like 20 below the day of the cutting. We couldn't get all the vehicles up to the tree site that we needed to. We had to tow them up.
Once we had the tree cut, we had to put tarps over the tree and then run heaters underneath to try to catch the heat so we could at least warm the branches up, so we could at least get it loaded onto the truck. Instead of being 8 foot wide like you have to be for the interstate, we were probably 20 feet wide.
Basically took up both lanes of the road to get it back to town. I mean, nobody could get around us.
Both Morris and Say noted despite the freezing temperatures that day, the experience is one they will never forget, and are hoping those currently working with the Forest Service can start the work on sending a 4th South Dakota tree to D.C. Reporting in Nemo, I'm Adrian Carbajal.